There's kind of been a lot of Star Wars video games released over the years back in LucasArts' heyday, but then the well kind of dried up once EA got the exclusive license. A Battlefront here, a Jedi Fallen Order there. Disney really cracked down on who gets to make a Star Wars game, whatever that might mean. Everyone loves.
It's only a movie.
Most people know Star Wars. It's ingrained into our very minds, casual and hardcore fans alike. Slap the Star Wars name on it and you can sell anything. Well, almost anything. Kinect Star Wars, the last Star Wars game released by LucasArts, making it the end of an era. I remember the hype surrounding this game when it first came out. People were losing their minds over it. It was supposed to be like the Half-Life Alyx of Kinect titles. A real, actual AAA game. For those who don't know, the Kinect peripheral was Microsoft's response to the popularity of motion controls brought on by the Nintendo Wii. The gimmick? No controller. You are the controller. The Kinect sensor is sort of like a souped up webcam that provides quite good, even for today's standards, full body tracking. Kinect Star Wars released on April 3rd, 2012 exclusively for the Xbox 360. Loading up the game, you're greeted by R2 and C-3PO. You, yes you, have been tasked by Master Luke to return to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and sift through the archives while he goes on thrilling space adventures, I guess. The first problem I had was the Kinect even recognizing me. Right away, hijinks ensue, as the droids do this "oh, where have you gone" routine, which was cute at the start until they just kept going. Once we're in, there's 5 game modes. First up is the campaign mode, Jedi Destiny. The story follows Mavra Zane, voiced by Jennifer Hale, and a group of Padawans set in the prequel era. I chose the Dathomirian male Aka Darth Maul Light. They straight up give you a lightsaber to practice with. I would have liked a choice in lightsaber color, even if I would have chosen blue, but still. You have free movement of your arms via the Kinect sensor. This is how you control your lightsaber.
Take a moment to feel its weight.
There isn't any. The problem with many Kinect games that have you waving wands or swinging lightsabers is the fact that there's nothing in your hand, as opposed to VR, where there is an object replicating a gun or sword, making the experience more realistic. The Force, however, works. With you reaching out, pushing and pulling objects with your mind. It's slow and imprecise, but it worked when I needed it to. You land on Kashyyyk, the Wookiee home planet, and after old Grogu gives you a sermon or something, you enter combat. There's 2 types of combat encounters in this game, duels and general skirmishes. In these, you can move freely and cut down clankers however you see fit. The combat here is quite fleshed out for a Kinect game anyway. You can deflect enemy fire and even hit it back at them. You can dodge left and right, parry, and you even have an AoE jump attack. When you swing your lightsaber, the game automatically pulls you closer to the enemy, but you can also move forward yourself. There's enough enemy variety, but it does get repetitive over time, because at the end of the day, you are just repeatedly swinging your arm until the next cutscene plays. Duels are one-on-one turn-based encounters. Your opponent attacks first, telegraphing their moves. Once a gauge fills, it's your turn to attack. Do enough damage and the game asks you to, finish them.
Do it.
The controls are far from responsive. Later on, you come against enemies that can lock onto you. There's a generous window to dodge, but there's such a long delay on your input. The Kinect just isn't suited to fast-paced action games. Breaking up the action are these platforming sections. These turn up every now and then, short obstacle courses that have you ducking and jumping. The game tells you exactly what action to perform, so it's not as engaging as it is tiring. A more exciting break are these speeder chases. These control different to the pod racing, which we'll get to in a bit. Kashyyyk comes under attack by separatist troops. After Grandpa Grogu gives you some unwarranted advice,
Engage them from behind, Padawan.
you lean left and right at breakneck speed, avoiding trees and enemy crafts. The game auto-targets whoever you're behind, so you can focus on steering. It's more Subway Surfers rather than Need for Speed. There's 3 lanes you can be in to avoid obstacles, and that's as complicated as it gets. You have to plant charges at some point and do this weird motion to fire missiles. It's whatever. Eventually, you leave Kashyyyk with Chewbacca in what is totally not the Millennium Falcon. Here you have an on-rail shooting section where you aim at oncoming enemies, and you get the picture. There's some charges you can drop and have a cooldown, which you really don't need. You crash land on a new planet, Felucia.
How curious.
Here you meet Mach Pra, the Resistance leader, and holy shit, is that Nolan North doing a dodgy accent?
So, ready to storm the gates of hell?
Here you go through the motions. There's a Sarlacc pit, some jumping, and then the Malevolence from Clone Wars. The grand finale has you blowing up a giant space weapon with some fancy flying. You do all these other Darth Maul lights and the day is saved. Cue the cheesy medal ceremony. I don't hate it. The main story is about 4 to 5 hours long and it gets repetitive real quick. It feels more like the evolution of 4DX, with you physically moving to progress the plot, rather than a real video game. The combat can be fun when it works. The problem being being it often doesn't. It boils down to the game feeling like a massive QTE session just to load the next cutscene. Okay, what else we got? Duels of Fate. This is just a dedicated dueling mode against bots of varying difficulty. If you're good, you can unlock Darth Vader. I'll just fight the Sun Guard again.
You want to start from the front, because it means you've got the other 19 drivers starting behind you.
Now this is Star Wars karting, and it has no right being this good. You control both turbo engines individually. The game shows you how much power is being diverted to each one. Pushing forward and back makes the pod go faster or slower. Pulling back with one hand turns it in that direction. This worked quite well. I never really had a problem with this. You can use power-ups like a repair droid or a more offensive one. You can slam left and right. There's a bunch of tracks you can race on. This also has a career mode where Watto and Sebulba are rival team principals. And Watto, the best character to make this crossover happen, Disney, needs your help to win. I know what you're thinking. What's Star Wars without some brisk iced tea? Microsoft ran a promotion where you could get Anakin's Pod Racer DLC if you scan the M tag on your brisk iced tea bottle. That's cool, I guess. Up next, Rancor Rampage. Here you play as an escaped Rancor wreaking havoc on the poor people of Tatooine. They cut out dark side powers because they thought it made the game too violent. I just bit the head off a frickin' civilian. Flailing around and destroying a town is never not gonna be fun. It's a high score based minigame and a fine addition to the collection. You knew this was coming, right? Let's get this out of the way. It's just absurd. They took the Dance Central gameplay and put it in Star Wars, and it's amazing. All the songs are parodies of existing pop songs of the time. Some of these lyrics, though. In Hologram Girl, which is a parody of Gwen Stefani's Holla Back Girl, they censor "This Is My Shit" to "This Is My Ship." My favorite has to be Kashyyyk, which is a parody of Jamiroquai's Canned Heat. Just the simple act of changing Boogie to Wookiee perfects an already perfect song. Then of course the ever iconic "I'm Han Solo." The gameplay, there's motions you have to replicate 3 to 4 times. The more accurately you do this, the higher your score. All the dance moves are Star Wars themed, like the Trash Compactor or Chewie Hug. Yeah, it's dumb, but I had a good time, and that's Kinect Star Wars in a nutshell. It's not the amalgamation of every prior Star Wars game, nor is it the fleshed out AAA game people wanted it to be. It's an experience put out as a last-ditch effort to sell a doomed product. What joy there is comes from the Star Wars coat of paint. Seeing Palpatine get down to a cover of YMCA, taking out Ben Quadineros in a pod race. It's bad, but I liked it.